Welcome to another session of our podcast. Today, we are talking about something that happens to all of us, the early, awkward days of a new job.
It is a classic experience, isn't it? That mix of excitement and the quiet fear that you might do something very strange in front of your new colleagues.
Exactly. I remember my first week at an office job a few years ago. I was so nervous about being on time that I arrived an hour early. I saw a group of people heading into a conference room, and I just followed them.
Oh no, that sounds like a recipe for a misunderstanding.
It was. I sat there for 2 full hours. It was a strategy meeting for the accounting department. I am not an accountant. I just nodded every time the manager looked at me. I think I accidentally approved a budget for a new printer system.
I can see you just sitting there very calmly, accepting your fate as an accidental accountant. That is quite a way to start a career.
It really was. I just did not want to be the person who stood up and left. I thought, well, maybe this is part of the orientation. What about you? Did you ever have a moment like that?
I once tried to look very prepared and organized on my first day as an intern. I bought this fancy, color-coded planner. Everything was neat. I walked into the office feeling very professional.
Let me guess. You spilled something on it?
Within the first hour, I was holding my tea, trying to shake my new boss's hand, and I just tipped it right over the cover. It was not a disaster, but the planner was definitely not looking organized anymore. It was covered in Earl Grey tea.
I suppose the real lesson there is to never hold a beverage and a professional reputation at the same time. At least, not on day one.
A very wise observation. I think we have all had those moments where we try to balance being professional with being a normal, slightly clumsy human. It is just part of the process.
True. Speaking of balance, I have a hypothetical for you. Imagine you are in an orientation session and the HR manager decides to do an icebreaker. But instead of the usual, tell us a fun fact, they ask everyone to mimic their favorite animal to explain their leadership style.
Oh, that is cruel. I think I would just sit there in silence. I am not sure how a penguin mimics a leadership style. Maybe just standing very still and looking serious?
I would probably try to be an owl. Quiet, observant, and mostly just hoping no one notices me. The worst part is that someone would definitely take it too seriously. Like the person in the corner who decides to roar like a lion to show they are an aggressive salesperson.
That is exactly why icebreakers are so difficult. They are meant to connect us, but often they just make us want to disappear. I think the best icebreaker is just a good cup of coffee and a quiet conversation about the actual work.
I agree. Sometimes the best way to get to know someone is just to talk about the project, not your inner spirit animal. It is a relief that we are on the same page. I think the pressure to perform is what ruins most of these team-building efforts. Just let me do my job, and we will get along fine.
I agree. Reliability is a much better trait than being the person who can mimic a dolphin. Though I suppose if someone were actually an expert at animal noises, it might be a bit impressive.
Maybe. But imagine the HR meeting where they decide to promote that person based solely on their lion impression. Well, you aren't very efficient with the spreadsheet, but your roar is world class.
That would certainly make for an interesting career path. I think I would prefer to stick to my spreadsheets, thank you.
Fair enough. I think the key for anyone listening who is starting a new job is just to be patient with themselves. You don't have to be perfect on day 1. You don't even have to be perfect on day 30.
Exactly. It is a learning curve for everyone. And if you do spill your tea on your planner, just remember, it is just a planner. It still holds your schedule, even if it is a little bit stained.
That is a great way to look at it. A bit of tea on a planner is just a story waiting to be told later, I suppose.
Exactly. And for our listeners today, whether you are on your first day or your 50th, remember to be kind to yourself. You are doing just fine.
Before we wrap up, here is a small challenge for everyone listening. Think of one minor mistake you made at work or school recently. Did it end up being as bad as you thought it would be at the time?
That is a wonderful exercise. Sometimes, looking back, those little blunders end up being the funniest memories we have. Thank you for joining us for this session of B&M English Podcast.
We will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.